Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jane. I am so excited today to be talking about the power of a new moon in Libra when it comes to our manifestations. So I've put together a little presentation for us just to help keep it as clear as possible and to be as helpful as possible. So let me go ahead and switch into the presentation. I'll see you in just a sec. All right, so this presentation is all about a new moon in Libra and the manifestation power that is contained within this particular moon. So why does this particular moon have to be so special? Because we have moons every month, we have new moons, we have full moons, waxing and waning, and every zodiac sign and every element, they all have their own unique power. And I just wanted to be very, very clear, okay, that this presentation and the information found within it has nothing to do with your own personal zodiac chart. Okay, so you don't have to have any Libra in your chart at all, but this will still apply. All right. New moons are the initiation of a creative cycle. And whenever you see, someone teaching you about whether it's like witchcraft or moon cycles or even astrology or whatever, everyone always talks about why new moons are so beautiful for initiation. It's the beginning of a manifestation. It is the kind of that process of beginning to breathe in after a period of breathing out. All right. So there's a lot of new life that can be breathed into things during this time, during a new moon. Now, the new moon in Libra has a couple of advantages that no other zodiac sign has when it comes to having two things. All right. So the elemental advantage, meaning Libra is an air sign. Air sign, the air element is kind of that connection element, which connects the physical world with the etheric world. All right. So from a chakra perspective, all right, we have the root chakra, which is ruled by earth, the sacral chakra ruled by water, the solar plexus by fire, and the heart chakra by air. And then everything else above that is ruled by the ether. Now, earth, as we know, is a quite dense element, right? It's heavy, it's thick, it's tangible. Water is still dense, maybe not as dense as earth, but it is still dense. I mean, have you ever tried to run through water, right? It's very challenging. It's very difficult. And in earth, like if someone buried you and just left your head up above the earth, when you used to bury someone in sand, try running like that, right? You can't be buried in earth and run, right? It's a very challenging process. But you can run through air very easily. There's not a lot of friction with air. Now, the air signs are, of course, Libra, but also Gemini and Aquarius. These are all three of these are highly advantageous for manifestation. So when the sun is in the air sign and the moon is in the air sign, this is especially true. So I'm not saying that Libra is totally unique in the fact that it's an air sign, because Gemini and Aquarius also provide this particular advantage. I wouldn't allow a air sign season or an air season to go by without at least initiating something. All right. Now, with the modality, right, we have three modalities. And the way we have four elements, earth, water, fire, and air, we also have three modes, all right, or three modalities. We have cardinal, fixed, and mutable. Cardinals represent the beginning of the season. So we have Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn as the initiators of the new season. So Aries is the beginning of springtime, right? And Libra is the beginning of autumn. Again, using a Northern Hemisphere reference here. Capricorn representing the beginning of winter, Cancer beginning summer. And then we have fixed, which is the middle month, and then we have mutable. Mutable signs have to do with the transition between one season and another. So there's a little bit of flexibility and a little transitionary energy that goes through with those seasons. But cardinals are especially powerful in initiation because that is what they do. They initiate new endeavors and new ventures and new ideas. And when we combine the cardinal quality with the air quality, now Libra is the only cardinal air sign. That's why Libra is so unique. Okay? So when we combine air and cardinal, you have a low density environment for initiation. All right, so this is why all of us can utilize this. This is why this season is somewhat unique. Now, if we were to talk about all the cardinals, again, they all have their specialties. You know, like if you wanted to manifest something in Capricorn season, by all means, go for it, right? That's late December and through most of January. By all means, go for it. By all means, utilize that. But just know that when you initiate something in an Earth season, especially one like Capricorn that's ruled by Saturn, which represents time, that may be a little bit longer of a time frame toward actualization or realization. Usually air element is faster turnaround. Usually it, I'm not saying that that's a guarantee by any stretch of the imagination, but it usually moves a lot faster. The energy can kind of go through the cosmos a little bit easier, okay? So maximizing the effects. This is the goal. How do we maximize the effects of this new moon? Now, I'm specifically talking about new moons as well as opposed to full moons, because with the new moon, you have the sun and the moon in the element or in Libra. Okay, so how do you really go about doing this? All right, first and foremost, I just want you to know that you get to be creative here and you get to really decide what it is you want and how you want to go about developing a ritual or a ceremony, if you even do. Not everyone would like to, but if you do, there's a lot of information in here for you to do that. But start with like, what is really your main focus? And by that, I mean, which process do you desire to undergo? This is not about what you're going to get. So be careful of that. This is not about saying, well, I want to get that money or I want to get that relationship. It's I want to undergo the process of becoming ready and available for this in my life. I want to become available, and I want to become a magnet, and I want to become a beautiful source of light that attracts these wonderful things. It really is the process of becoming more than anything. Remember, it's a new moon, which is like there's nothing in the sky. So it's going from total blank and darkness to becoming manifest in a full moon, right? As it's waxing to being this beautiful luminary. All right. So it is becoming a full moon, becoming a more actualized version of yourself. All right. So once you've determined what it is that you really are wanting, money, love, a health issue that wants to be resolved, or dealing with a difficult person at work or within your family or whatever, you need to figure out what planetary rulership, what is the planetary ruler for that particular topic. So this is how to really begin. Okay, now I'm going to use this year, 2022's new moon, as an example, but every year you can go through this process to make these determinations. So first and foremost, you need to know what is the day of the week that this new moon lands on. All right, so here, this year, it's Sunday, September 25th at 4:53 p.m. Central Time for 2022. All right, so you need to do this every single year. And then what we're going to do is we're going to figure out the correct hour that this ritual or this meditation, now you don't have to go do a full-on ritual if you don't want, but if you're interested in this kind of thing, it may be beneficial to at least plan out a meditation. If nothing else, a meditation would be amazing, or a walk, right? Something simple. It doesn't matter. You can be as complex or as simple as you want, but it's about dedicating a period of time, at least, 30 minutes to an hour, to this manifestation, or to this intention rather. Okay, so we know that Sunday is going to be the ruler, like the overarching ruler. So now we say, okay, well, depending on what I want, which hour would be the most advantageous? All right. Oh, sorry, I forgot to do this. So every day, right? So this is kind of basic stuff. Some of you may already know this, some of you may not. Sunday ruled by the sun, Monday the moon, Tuesday is Mars, Wednesday is ruled by Mercury, Thursday Jupiter, Friday Venus, Saturday Saturn. All right, so so you have that as reference. And the planetary themes now, okay, so let's say that you are wanting, right, the sun is associated with career success, promotions, creativity, ambitions, authority, health, confidence, self-expression. Anything to do with children as well would be included in here. I forgot to write that down. So for example, if you are looking at getting a promotion and that's what you're wanting to manifest, you can say, well, today is a Sunday ruled by the sun, and I'm going to want to do this during the sun-ruled hour of the day. And we're going to get to that in just a minute of how you can figure that out. So if you are looking at more domestic activities or fluctuating circumstances, developing psychic abilities, coming into deeper levels of truth and healing within yourself, you're going to want to choose the hours ruled by the moon. For communication, collaboration, technology, negotiations, signing agreements, deals, or even launching some kind of commerce thing, all right? Creativity, inspiration, learning, and mental agility, all of those things ruled by Mercury. Love, money, mediation, marriage, attractiveness, comfort, that's all Venus. For things for physical activities, courage, initiation of enterprise, negotiations, war. Now, I know you are not personally going to war, but if you are dealing with some kind of an enemy or adversarial energy, this would be a fantastic hour to perform this particular manifestation. For Jupiter is great because he's kind of versatile. So really success in anything. Right? Financial abundance, especially adventure, higher education, learning, travel, also with Jupiter, also Mercury as well. That's look for the hour for Jupiter. Now for Saturn, this is more serious stuff like dealing with responsibilities or having to kind of plow through this tedious, mundane work, getting organized, setting up systems and structures, dealing with reality. Sometimes that can be hard, and maybe you do need to kind of go through a process of accepting reality, and even to go through just periods of contemplation and meditation. So for example, if you don't have a hard and fast goal that you want to do right now, you can align your ceremony with just a meditation during the hours of Saturn. All right. So how do you find this hour, right? So based on what we just talked about, you're going to go to this website here. It's called planetaryhours.net. Okay. Planetary hours, plural, HOURS.net. And you're going to choose the date and you're going to choose your location. Now you can plug in any location here and it's going to give you this chart. Daytime and nighttime. Now, the way this works is when it says hour 1, like on the left-hand side, daytime, hour number 1. This is not like the first hour of the day in terms of midnight to 1 a.m. This is actually the time of sunrise. So when we're doing this kind of exercise, we have to know the time of the sunrise because that is considered the first hour. And I love this website because it talks to you or it tells you the beginning and the end of that hour. So, and it also tells you the ruler. So because September 25th is a Sunday on 2022, the first hour is ruled by the sun as well. And then it goes through the planets in the Chaldean order, which is the common order of the planets as rooted in traditional astrology. All right, so we would begin with the sun, and then we go to Venus, Mercury, Moon, Saturn, Jupiter, Mars, and then we repeat the cycle again. So you have a couple of choices through this to choose which hour is going to be the most advantageous. So really think about it. I usually recommend doing these later at night, okay, because this moon, now it depends on where you are in the world, but if you are in the United States, this moon is kind of like early to like mid-afternoon. You know, it's around 4:30, I forget the time I said at the beginning, it's like 4:30 Central Time, so 5:30 Eastern, 2:30 Pacific. So it's just kind of in a weird time of day. So I would recommend going later at night and saying, okay, well, what can I do there? Now, if you really can't do that, that's fine. You can do it during the day. I feel that nighttime is a little bit more reverent. It's a little more conducive to the kind of the sacredness that is required. It's because it's more receptive. It's more feminine. That's why, right? It's more aligned with the intuition, and it's a little bit more vulnerable as well. Whereas during the day, where the sun is blaring and blazing out, it's a much more masculine time. That's why we go and do our things during the day, because it is the masculine polarity of the day. All right. So now for these slides, I just have to point out, I chose 2 paintings by John Waterhouse to kind of represent this. John Waterhouse is by far my favorite artist, like of all time, because he often chooses to paint like witchy and like beautiful, divine, feminine, magical people, and like both real and mythological people. And I actually have both of these prints in my house, because it's just, for those of you who are interested in magic, these are such beautiful images. It's kind of like using the magician card in the tarot to kind of have as a visual during one of your ceremonies. Okay, you can use it as a visual to envision the power of your magic becoming bigger and greater. Now, you don't have to have that. I'm just saying that's something that you can use. I'm just going to be totally honest with you guys. I am personally not a huge ritual person. I don't do rituals very often because of my health stuff that I have dealt with over the past couple of years. I have learned manifestation to completely new levels that I never knew was possible as I manifest certain things, not only with my health, but other things in my life, which have changed dramatically and drastically. And I'm starting to realize that rituals are, sometimes I think they're a little overused, but I think that also depends on you. And you have to come into a system that works well for you. However, I will personally be doing a ritual for this new moon in Libra on the 25th, just to utilize its power. Okay, so once you have come into an understanding of the intention that you want, and I would really prepare this a couple of weeks ahead of time. All right, so I even say here, start preparing 2 weeks ahead of time, just after the previous full moon. So we have the full moon in Pisces on the 10th of September. So after that, a couple of days, as that moon is waning, you can really start to prepare for this new moon. And you can start thinking about what it is you want to initiate, or rather, not what you want to manifest so much as it is, which process do you want to initiate yourself into? All right, so think about it. And think about a revised self-concept. What does this mean? Well, I often use the example of becoming fit. Like if you want to be one of those fit girls, like on TikTok and Instagram, you want to be one of those fit people, well, you have to start going to the gym. All right. So you have to start exercising, or you have to start eating in a new way, or there has to be some kind of change. And that is all a part of your self-concept. Self-concept kind of helps us, or developing a self-concept kind of helps us with our self-respect. If you are struggling in the self-respect or the self-worth or self-value area, not everyone does, I'm not saying that's you, but many people do, just simply because of the culture that we live in. So if you are someone who is struggling with that, sitting down prior to this full moon new moon, and really think about, with this quote unquote new version of you, this new version of you is coming out of ultimate respect for yourself, and thereby start treating yourself that way, especially in the 2 weeks prior to this ritual or ceremony or this moment. All right? And I want you to think about the feelings that are associated with this. Does it feel comfortable? Does it feel peaceful? Does it bring out serenity or enthusiasm? Does it bring validation? Does it bring clarity? What does it bring? And I want you to come into reverence with this. And I want you to come into a state of acceptance with this. If you start saying, well, I want to be a fit person, right? But then you experience immediate resistance to the thought of going to the gym, and you start whining or complaining or pushing something away, then this whole thing becomes completely moot and totally pointless. So you just might as well not even do it. Okay. So if you are experiencing resistance, this is the time to work through acceptance, to come into reverence with your things. And, I even had someone on my channel the other day talk, because I was using manifesting a multi-million-dollar mansion. And they said, that is anti-spiritual. And I thought, how sad, because that's how I used to be. I used to think that too, that manifesting material things was not spiritual, and therefore it wasn't good, and therefore it was distracting for me in my life journey, and blah, 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 blah. Total BS, right? We are here as material beings, as children of the earth, spirits of the earth, to experience the earth and all the things that earth has to offer. And that includes all of the man-made things as well. Okay, so we don't have to push and reject. We can be really, really, really spiritual and have things. Okay, it's not a one or the other thing. It's not a one or the other deal. All right, so come into reverence and spend time journaling over this next couple of weeks, and really indulge for the sake of preparing your energy. Now, if you do want to have an actual ritual or ceremony, I would recommend starting to prepare your tools. What music are you going to play, if any? What do you need? Do you need candles, journals, paper, pen, bottles, essential oils, incense? Do you need musical instruments? Do you what is it? What do you need? Okay, get it ready. Get it ready with the intention of this new moon in Libra ceremony. And have the day all planned out. Make sure that you're going to have privacy during this time. Make sure that you can close the door. Make sure that you are, going to be alone. Whatever it is, make sure it's quiet. Make sure that you have a little bit of control over the environment here and you don't get interrupted. Now, if you're doing a group manifestation ritual, some people like to get together and, go do drum circles on the beach and all that beautiful stuff, that's amazing. So just make sure that everyone is on board with the schedule and everyone's good, okay? A couple of things you do not have to do, but just to consider. Some may wish to abstain from sex or any sexual activity, even solo stuff, for at least 7 days prior. I do recommend this if you want to do a sexual magic thing. Totally your call. And if you don't know what that is and it freaks you out, don't worry about it, don't do it. But the thing with sexual energy is it is so potent in creativity, right? It is so strong. And when we utilize that energy uselessly, it can be draining, and it can kind of affect our energy field a little bit. So keeping that intact and keeping our creative essence, kind of building up, can actually be beneficial for us. I also recommend abstaining from consuming low vibrational things, and that includes certain foods, foods that, especially if you have a health condition, Like, let's say you have a heart condition and your doctor has said stay away from sodium. Like, please stay away from sodium. Please just stay away from the things that you know are not healthy or good for you. We all have different things that we need to take into consideration. So make sure that you are honoring your body as much as you possibly can. As if you can eat fruit, as much as you can, eat fruit, eat vegetables, eat a lot of hydrating foods, drink a lot of water, and you can do a lot of manifestation water as well, where you write out your intention, a couple of weeks prior, and you continue, like, just write it on a little like postcard or a little note card or something, set it next to a glass pitcher of water. Probably I wouldn't recommend using plastic. If you can do like a pure metal or a pure glass, that would be ideal. But put it next to the water and, every day just drink this water. Any books or social media content, TV, entertainment, music, there are some low vibrational things like that. So I highly would recommend staying away from it. And plan out your outfit and make sure it's clean. What clothes are you going to wear? I don't care if you wear sweats and a t-shirt, that's fine. But make sure that it is like a dedicated outfit. It's, I'm just thinking it probably would be better for you to feel really good about yourself. So if it's something that you feel beautiful or attractive in, that's probably going to be your best bet. A lot of people, who are super serious into like the Wicca or the witching or whatever, like that kind of stuff, they wear robes and all. And like, you don't have to go to that extreme. I mean, if you have that and you want to, by all means, go for it. But, I would recommend something that makes you feel attractive. All right. Because attractiveness and beauty kind of reflects that inner light. And when you're when you're getting all dressed up, going out with your friends or out to a club or whatever, and if you feel like you look really good, you're going to approach everything with more confidence. So that's going to be super important. Clean your area, sweep, mop, dust, vacuum, ensure your tools are all set and laid out properly. I mean, this is just basic hygiene, right? Just clean it up, but you don't want any remnants from past rituals or anything like that. Make sure that it has been cleansed. If you're into saging, please do that. I'm a huge frankincense girl. That's my preferred incense of choice, but it has a different function than sage. I don't sage that often because I don't feel that I have that much negativity in my world or in my home, but it is probable that for this new moon I will, okay? Create manifestation water. I already talked about that. Write out your intentions a couple of days beforehand and place them in your ceremony space. Write them out, preferably in a red pen if you can. If not, you can also write them on with your computer and use a red typeface or a red font if you have a color printer at your house. If not, it's fine. Those are just little extra things, but you don't have to do it. Red is just an activating color. So red activates the manifestations. But place it next to your tools. Place it in your space. Get your space vibrating at the frequency of your ceremony. Okay, or I'm sorry, of your intention. Now, the day of the ceremony, I'm not saying you have to take the whole day and do this. I know some of you have children. I know some of you have other people in your life. Some of you have jobs. Okay, so you don't have to take this whole 24 hours thing. But the more consciousness you can bring into it means the more energetic investment you bring into it. With more energetic investment, there is a higher level of commitment. And with that, it actually amplifies the power of the intention even that much more. Okay, so preparation is important for these types of things. So if you want, these are just some options. Take a salt bath, okay? Get some pure salt. If you have some herbs or flowers or something you want to include, by all means, just make sure they don't clog up your drain. But other than that, by all means, go for it. I also recommend washing your hair, like washing and doing your hair if you can that day. Shower in the uncommon shower. Now, what does this mean? So if you have multiple bathrooms in your house and you normally use a single shower, I would use a shower that you don't normally use. So there's something novel and different about it. And if you can make it cold, now it doesn't have to be freezing cold water, but if you can at least maybe lukewarm or a little cold, or you can start off with hot water just to get yourself in there, and then kind of slowly make the water cooler and cooler and cooler. The power of cold water running over you sort of mimics the power of a waterfall. And we know that there are certain, energetic charge. There's an energetic charge with water like that, and it can help to amplify your energy even that much more. Turn off your phones, your computers, unplug your Wi-Fi if you can. Find silence, meditate, honor the energies around you, honor your current state, right? Express gratitude and appreciation for where you are and all that you have been through. Honor your path and your journey. So now at the time of your ritual, now you get to totally decide how you do this and make it your own. Remember, some people are more into items and working with tools than other people. I'm not a huge work with tool person. I may light a candle or something and that's it. But I don't usually do it. But some people love to do it. So I want you to make it in a way that you love. And make the ceremony in a way that feels like you're actually putting yourself through an initiation. All right, because you are initiating yourself into a process of growth. So make it your own, make it special, memorable, and beautiful, make it sacred. Okay, so this is an investment in energy. Now, you can also bring in any deities. A lot of people do work with like Jesus, right? To bring in that relationship. A lot of people work with other spirits or ancestors or any kind of a guru that you have. Be sure to bring those spirits and those entities and those energies in, because it will actually help you to feel protected. So this is an investment in energy alignment and familiarization. It's very difficult to manifest something if you are not familiarized with it. This is why when they talk about, anyone like law of attraction-y, okay? Anyone who's all into the law of attraction will always talk about, well, you have to keep your thoughts toward the thing that you desire. You have to keep your thoughts and keep your emotions, and you have to choose things that keep you in a high vibrational state, whatever it is. The reason for that is because you have to familiarize your body and your energy field. The good news is you have control over that through thoughts and emotion. So you can purposefully generate thoughts and emotion that align with the things that you're hoping to attain. And again, you bring that more commonly into your life, it's more likely to occur. It's similar to how they always say, if you take a look at the 5 people you spend the most time with, that you will be an average of those 5 other people. So if you want to enhance your life, you have to start surrounding yourself with people who have the kind of life that you are wanting. And the reason is familiarization. Because instead of sitting around with the initial 5 people and you just talk about what happened on the Kardashians TV show, now you're sitting around a table of people, brainstorming new ideas for some new business that you could launch together. It's a totally different vibe, right? So it's about familiarization. So now this is again affirming that you are ready to begin the process of moving into your desired manifestation and taking accountability and responsibility for your part in your growth. All right, this ceremony or whatever it is just you communicating to the higher intelligence, however you want to refer to it as, communicating to the higher intelligence that you are dedicated. All right, so it's kind of like, I kind of almost feel as though this is like the application or the audition process. Like when, let's say you want to go to Juilliard, well, you have to audition to get in. And by auditioning, you are officially putting yourself at least a single point on the path to the journey of what Juilliard may bring. Now you may reject it later on and that's fine, but at least you're putting yourself there. Like you can't sit here and say, well, I want to go to Juilliard, but then never go audition. right? You want to play for the, Major League Baseball. Well, you got to get on the field. This is you getting in the field. All right. Now, once you've done what you need to do, you can leave all the tools alone. This is my recommendation. Just don't touch them. Just leave them out. Let the energy subside, because they're going to be charged, and they're going to pick up, the items can pick up your vibration and all that. So you're going to want to walk away, close the door. I don't know, you can cover them up with a sheet or something. But I wouldn't touch them or move them. I wouldn't disturb them. I would just allow them to just be. And, I would change out of your clothes. I also say change your hair, right? Because we know that the hair is a very sacred part of our body. And, so for example, if you washed your hair and you pulled it up into a ponytail or a bun, I would take it out of the ponytail and I would just kind of get some water on your hands and just sort of run that water through your hair just a little bit, just to kind of get the electric charge out. All right. And then go do something else. But especially if you do this at night, how I recommended before when I was talking about the planetary hours, I would just go to sleep. But don't watch TV. Don't read a book. Don't listen to music. Don't do those things. You want the energy to keep going. Because if you start cutting it off with okay, now you're going to listen to some hardcore rap or some read a book about a serial killer or watch some kind of true crime documentary or something, you're going to throw in a bunch of negative, not things you want to manifest type of stuff. And it can get messy and murky. You want to make sure that energy truly subsides. And a lot of times, if you've ever done, a high level manifestation like this before, or a very intentional manifestation before, the feeling of energy just coursing through your body, the heat that it produces, how energized you can be. And so you don't want to mix anything in there that you don't want to incorporate into this whole thing. So keep yourself pure after. So go to sleep and then wake up and then you can live normal. By all means, turn on the true crime documentary or whatever you want to do. But just don't mix these two things. And as the days follow, you're going to start to notice a little bit of a path. And that may come just in the form of ideas, or you may notice yourself gravitating towards certain activities, right? Remember, this new moon is to initiate you into a process of becoming. It is not about getting something. That is just a huge mistake that I think we all make. I've made that mistake because I just simply didn't understand. All right, but that's really what's going on here. So a strategy or a plan may become clear in the days or weeks to follow. So you can start to take those steps and you can start organizing things and putting things together in a way that absolutely is beneficial for you. And the first steps taken after an initiation communicates to spirit your seriousness and dedication. This is all about self-respect and carrying up your end of the bargain. You cannot expect things to go perfectly. You cannot expect to never have contrast in your life again. It won't go perfectly. You will have contrast in your life again. But as long as you remain committed and dedicated and you show up with self-respect, it is inevitable that you will get to where you want to be. All right? Now, journaling is a fantastic way to show your continued commitment. And when I say journaling, I guess maybe that's the wrong word actually, now that I'm thinking about it. It's more dreaming, but daydream, purposeful dreams, not you go to sleep at night, you have a weird dream and you write it down. It's okay, let's say you want to be a super famous singer or an actress. All right, so in this journal, this is where you write about how exciting it is to go to the Academy Awards or to the Grammys, how exciting it is to receive that reward, how exciting it is to associate with these people and what it was like to meet you know, your idol, whatever, whoever, like whoever you respect, like what was it like to meet them for the first time? How incredible it was, how beautiful it was. Like, please indulge in these fantasies. I wouldn't talk about this, by the way. This is not something that you should blab out to people. This is something you should keep very, very private and very much to yourself. You have to protect this energy. All right. But please let your imagination just run wild and just go, and you can write page after page after page. And you'll notice that, you know, you may be going strong with this and doing it every single day for like a week or 2 weeks. And then one day you're not going to really want to do it. And you're going to be like, I'm not feeling that inspired, or it feels forced. If it feels forced, don't do it. Don't do it, because when you do something that feels forced, you're experiencing resistance, and maybe your body just needs a break. Maybe your body just needs time to reset and reboot, and maybe you won't feel that inspiration again for like another 3 months, and you'll leave that journal, you know, in the drawer or under the bed or whatever. You'll leave it in the private space and you won't even touch it. Don't think that the magic isn't still working just because you don't open that journal every day. Even if all you do is a single entry, it's still doing the work that it's supposed to do. But you can't force yourself to do this and expect it to work, because you're going to inject resistance into it. And please do not hold yourself to any time frame. Never, ever, ever. Never say, by this time, this is going to happen. All right? Because I think you'll notice that if you alleviate the time frame, you may actually end up doing it sooner, especially if you have a tendency to procrastinate. Okay? And that's pretty much it. Enjoy and good luck. Now, I didn't mention the tool, like the next day you can put your tools away. All right. Once the energy has kind of subsided and your body is kind of back to normal, you can just put the tools away. You know, if you have to throw anything out, I wouldn't just throw it in the trash or throw it in the garbage. I would do something more ceremonial like that. Like if you have to burn something, just do it safely. You know, please don't burn down your house. Or if you have to dunk something in salt water first. I know this may sound a little bit crazy, but like sometimes if I have something glass, like a votive candle holder or something, now those are reusable. And so, you know, if you can wash it and reuse it, that's fine. But if for whatever reason you're getting a feeling that you can't, I also like to kind of wrap that up in some kind of a towel or like a paper towel or something. And I actually take it outside with a hammer and just break it. And then I take those shards of glass and I'll like either bury them or put them, you know, out in my forest or something. Or I haven't done that yet, but that's probably what I would do. You know, obviously you don't want to cut yourself or hurt anybody on it, but you know, these are magical tools. They do carry charge. They do carry energy. So you have to be really cognizant of how you treat them and how you dispose of them. Do not throw anything in like your kitchen trash with a bunch of old rotting food. Okay, that's not the right way to do it. There's more information on that online of how to dispose of certain magical tools, and you can look that up. But just as a heads up, FYI, if it's not something that can be reused, just make sure you're doing that consciously. Okay? So that is the power of this new moon in Libra. Thank you all so much for listening to this. I hope that you got something out of it. I hope that you know, again, at least do a meditation, minimum meditation, something that you can feel like you are purposefully aligning. Okay? Love you guys. I hope you have an amazing new moon, and I'll talk to you very soon. Take care. Bye-bye.